Okay, we're almost all here. We're having some backstage technical difficulties, but we'll crack on anyway and see if we can get the results. So, yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to Farmer Office Hours. It's great to see so many of you joining us today as we continue our journey towards Mainnet Phase 2. Whether you're a long-time farmer or just getting started, these calls are all about keeping you informed, engaged, and equipped with the latest updates from the Autonomous network. I'm Jim, the head of community at Autonomous, and I'll be hosting today's call alongside an amazing lineup of speakers from our team, covering everything from network updates, unveiling our new developer hub, Stake Wars 2.1, Astral improvements, and much more. On stage with me today, we don't have Randy, our technical community manager, who is frantically trying to sort out some USB shenanigans in the background. So we'll see if he's able to join us. But we do have, here we go. I'm going to surprise Randy. Hey, Randy, straight into it. So, yeah, on stage today, we do have Randy, our technical community manager, who will be walking us through the latest update on the network's performance and farmer-focused hot topics. We also have Emil, our developer community manager, who will be introducing something he's been working on to help build a home for our developers. We also have Mark, our special guest, senior product engineer, to give us the highlights on a big Astral update. Looks like he's joining us from somewhere interesting today. We also have Ryan, our social community manager, to talk about a new office hours call he started running. And we also have Fredik, of course, our ambassador community manager, with updates from the ambassador program. Before we jump in, a quick reminder to follow us on our socials if you haven't already. You can find us on X or Twitter. We are at AutonomousNet. We actually also, I need to update this slide because we also have at Autonomous Labs as well. If you want to get some more technical content that streams out on that different account. I'm going to mention it again at the end. Discord, you can find our Discord and Telegram links at the bottom of our website if you want to find it, and our forum, of course, at forum.autonomous.xyz. These continue to be the best places to stay up to date as we progress towards that mainnet phase 2. Here's what we have lined up for today. Network updates, the latest stats and version releases. Developer hub launch, what's new and where to find everything. Big exciting item there. Stake Wars 2.1, our next big staking challenge and what you can expect from it. Astral updates, look under the bonnet into the latest improvements. Product office hours, a new way to engage directly with our team. Ambassador program updates, what's going on with our global ambassador program, and of course, as usual, we finish with our live Q&A where your questions will be answered. And on that note, we do love questions on farmer office hours, and we encourage you to share them during the call. You can put them in the chat, but please remember to keep them in English so we can address them. Thanks very much. And with that, let's get started. Randy, we haven't done a mic check, but it's over to you for the network update.
Thank you, Jim. So there should be a slide for this. Okay. So interestingly enough, we are getting a lot of variance between hour to hour on these stats. So like right now we have a node count on mainnet of 1826, but I've seen that over the last couple of days fluctuate between 1800 and 2000. Space pledge is at 583 petabytes. However, at one point a couple days ago, we did hit the magic 600 number. And our latest version is January 14th. Over on the Taurus network, we have 65 nodes, space pledged 1.23 petabytes, and the latest version is, well, there's a pre-release version for today, January 28th. Normally, I would go over the latest release for mainnet. However, this January 14th one, we already talked about last time. But the one thing I really want to stress here is we can see that over half of everyone is still running an older version of the software. And I just can't stress how important it is that you be running the latest version. Sometimes they'll be breaking changes between one version and another, and it's just very important so that you don't miss out on any reports that you are running the latest version. So that is it for now. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Randy, and I'm glad that you were able to join us after your technical problems. Yeah, yeah, I can't stress enough how important it is for everyone to upgrade to the latest builds as they come out. You can check telemetry to see which version people are running. And I can see actually we've had a correction in the chat. I think your number might be a bit low, 583 petabytes. We're told that it's 619 at the moment. I did see it over 600.
It is fluctuating. I checked this about an hour ago.
A live check.
Yeah, I'm looking at 583 right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. I wonder if Stake Wars news has caused. I'd be interested to see if the Taurus number changes. Okay, thanks very much, Randy. I will let you go because I'm going to bring Emil up on the stage. Emil, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Really excited to finally share this major update that we've been working on. And we are all really excited to share the news with you. So today we are announcing the launch of the new Autonomous Developer Hub, the new home of AI 3.0 developer documentation. We're separating our developer docs into a dedicated hub to better serve the specific needs of our developer community. The documentation is already up and available on a new domain. Please make sure to remember it and write it down. The domain is develop.autonomous.xyz. So once again, develop.autonomous.xyz and xyz, and we'll drop the link into the chat as well, of course. Next week, during developer office hours, we'll take a deep dive into the documentation and explore all the new features in larger detail. But for now, I'll just do a small teaser and a quick overview of what's new. So first of all, we've enhanced the docs with the LLM and cursor compatibility and added interactive features like code sandbox environments for instant cloud development. So now if you want to test some functions using our SDK, you can just do it right within the docs without leaving the documentation. You can write your code, and we also have some samples of pre-built code that you can execute and see the result and in the terminal just instantly on the web pages. We also have a new streamlined experience for developer onboarding, which hopefully makes it much easier for the new developers onboarding to the Autonomous network to choose between what features of the blockchain they want to use and what specific tools they would love to build with. We've also introduced a comprehensive guide to the Autonomous Agents framework. So that's something really new and something that our engineering team has been really hard at work. Plus, we've also revamped our documentation for the Auto SDK and Auto EVM. And you'll find a new showcase section featuring live applications on the Autonomous network, complete with technical breakdowns. And we've also worked on quite a bit of the user interface improvements. So as you can see, the dark mode is enabled by default. And we know that all developers, they do be loving the dark mode. So the application is using single page architecture for the faster navigation, and it has overall sleeker and modern 11-page design. You might ask what happened to the old docs. Well, they've all been migrated over, and all legacy links should still work. So you'll be automatically redirected to the new corresponding page on the new developer hub. And yeah, the Autonomous Developer Hub is currently in its very early stages. So we're just going to announce it pretty much right after the call, and we're going to share all the links across social media. And it will be ongoing refinements through the refinements and some regular updates based on internal usage and user feedback, which of course will be driving continuous improvement. But we really hope it serves our growing developer community with clear guidance on building AI-powered decentralized applications and on-chain auto agents. We're really excited for you to try it out. So please go and visit the Developer Hub and provide the feedback to us in any of the Discord or Telegram channels. And I'll be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Emil. I just want to say, well, I want to point out how much effort Emil's put into this, like really a major overhaul on the developer docs. They look absolutely fantastic. Favorite feature for me is probably the dynamic code sandboxes. You can read the documentation and then you can go and try it out all in the same page. It's a really wonderful experience, and I want to say thank you, Emil, for producing that for our developers.
Thank you, Jim.
Of course. Close second is probably the LLM and cursor friendly docs. So rather than having to run around and providing pages as context to your AI developer assistants, your junior dev, if you like, you can now just kind of give them one shot and give them the whole context of the project and all the SDK, which is really, I think that's going to save people time. Let us know what your favorite feature is. I'll be testing out the dark mode as well, because I like the lines down, just the glow of the keyboard, Emil.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, and I'll be glancing all over the chats today just to see if there's any feedback.
Yeah, we love feedback. Okay, thanks, Emil. I'll let you go. Because I'm going to talk on Stake Wars 2.1. I should point out we are thinking about a better name than Stake Wars 2.1. But for now, we'll use it just so that everyone knows what we're talking about. So yeah, today I am very excited to introduce our plans for Stake Wars 2.1, which is of course the next phase of our staking and operator testing initiative. Stake Wars has been an integral part of testing our domain security and staking mechanisms. And with Stake Wars 2.1, we're pushing things even further. Before we get into it, let's take a quick look back at where we've been and why this phase is so important. So first of all, what are the Stake Wars? Stake Wars is our initiative to test the staking mechanics of Autonomys' decentralized execution environments, which we call domains. These domains rely on operators to produce blocks and nominators to delegate stake, ensuring that our system remains secure and performant before we transition to mainnet phase 2, that big milestone just on the horizon. The purpose of these challenges is to identify weak points, optimize performance, and reward participation as we refine the staking experience. Previous Stake Wars. So Stake Wars 1 helped us refine basic staking mechanics, attract a community of validators, and stress test initial implementations. Stake Wars 2.0, however, faced some significant challenges. We own those, and those challenges include we had a problem, we had underpowered infrastructure that was highlighted. Some nodes struggled under load, causing unpredictable behavior, which was kind of a double whammy, really, because it compounded the problems. It meant that participants were presented with missing and incorrect information on the UI, so it caused a lot of confusion in our community. We really made sure that we took the time to kind of understand what went wrong there. We also had some Astral UI issues. The staking interface wasn't quite as user-friendly or tested as it should have been. The big one, of course, was we had erroneous slashing events. There was a problem with at the protocol level where operators were sometimes slashed incorrectly due to bugs. But that's all the bad news. That's all the negative, because the good news, we've been hard at work fixing these issues, and Stake Wars 2.1 is our chance to validate those fixes at scale. So our goals, what do we want to achieve? A number of our goals are carried over directly from Stake Wars 2.0, but a few tweaks have been made based on our evolving needs and the kind of further along state of the network we now find ourselves in. First of all, we want to validate end-to-end domain workflow robustness. There were staking design changes introduced a while ago, which were originally slated for testing in Stake Wars 2, which still require putting through their paces. To do that, we need to ensure staking, withdrawal, and nomination workflows are seamless. We want to verify the operator registration flow is fit for purpose, and we'll be testing the unlimited nominator support. You'll be able to help us identify any physical limits there. And of course, testing domain storage fees and transaction load limits. There are posts on the forum about these. I'll be providing some more information and probably directing people back to those original posts, just in case anyone's not sure what we're on about with, for example, domain storage fees. Second, we want to test multi-domain infrastructure. So we have cross-domain messaging, or XDM, you may see it referred to. We need that to be validated in real-world conditions, and we'll be using auto EVM during the wars. So we also want to test EVM functionality on the testnet, ensuring that deployment of decentralized apps, DApps, goes nice and smoothly. Thirdly, we want to boost on-chain activity. We want to bring more developers into our ecosystem, and we want those dApps deployed. They're our route to increasing the on-chain transactions and storage usage. And of course, part of that is we want to encourage innovative use cases for the Autonomys AI 3.0 vision. Last Farmer Office Hours, we talked on argument and the autonomous agents framework. So yeah, we want people to really kind of, show us your creativity and innovation around the infrastructure that we're providing. Okay, so mechanics. At a high level, it's going to be a longer running initiative. Unlike Stake Wars 1, which was a short, intense challenge, Stake Wars 2.1 will be open-ended. So that means we're not going to define an exact end date up front. Instead, the Autonomous team will decide when we have the data we need. There will be the main quests, which remain focused on participating as an operator and/or nominator. There will also be side quests, which will be special challenges designed to reward those who are engaged and help us to push the boundaries of the network. So you're going to need to keep your eyes open for those. Something new, as I alluded to earlier, is that there will be an initiative and rewards available for builders. This is likely to be part of a wider developer outreach program, which we will be launching in February. Join us on next week's Developer Office Hours to hear more about that. Participants can expect there will be new tasks introduced dynamically throughout the event. Exact phases will be communicated ahead of time, but there will be a mixing of test streams compared to the more rigid structure we had planned for Stake Wars 2 originally. This means we'll be running the main quests for the whole duration, while the side quests and builder challenges are sprinkled in on top, running concurrently. So multiple ways to engage and help us out at once there. Rewards, as previously announced, a total of 0.3% of token supply has been allocated for Stake Wars 2. This will be split among different roles to incentivize the behaviors we need. We need certain things to happen to be able to test the things that we need to. That breaks down as 0.05% for operators, and they will be rewarded for running stable, high uptime nodes. 0.5% for nominators for staking effectively and efficiently. 0.1% for builders for deploying dApps and driving transaction activity and contributing useful useful tooling. And finally, 0.1% for those side quest challenges. So they're going to be things like we need to test operator performance under stress. We want to really push nominator and slashing limits to feel for the edges there, what the boundaries are. We also want to find the limits on very large call data transactions. These are just examples of the things that we're going to want to do. Something interesting, there will also be a private EVM domain, and we will invite security testing against that. That could be a nice test for those hackers out there to see if they can find any vulnerabilities for us and get rewarded for doing that. We will also, challenges will also be testing partner integrations and critical infrastructure deployments. More on that coming up. And who knows, there may even be a malicious operator challenge. You will have to stay tuned to find out. There won't be a complete list of those challenges up front, and what we call the trials of innovation will be dynamic, rewarding those who push the system in meaningful ways. And I should point out that our plan is to reward breadth of participation rather than depth. What that means is that allocating rewards directly proportional to stake is unlikely to be as appropriate as it was for Stake Wars 1. more details on that will be forthcoming. Okay, moving on. Operator and nominator outreach. So we're inviting anyone who wants to participate to spin up a testnet operator or become a nominator. For operators, you can fill out this form to register your interest. So I am just going to pop that in the chat. I will provide it again at the end. Just want to point out, this is not a formal registration. It's just a way to ensure we can contact you with key updates. So you can make sure you don't miss communications about being ready for the start of the Stake Wars. For nominators, if you are planning to be a Stake Wars 2.1 nominator, there is not a great deal to do at the moment beyond accumulating TAI3 to improve your nomination power. Remember that we have lifted the limit on the number of nominators per operator since Stake Wars 1. Stake Wars 1 had a limit, I believe it was 256. So unlimited nominators, although we'd love to find out if there is a limit that presents itself. In addition, there will be a second chance initiative for validators. So if you don't meet the minimum operator stake requirement, we will have a process to apply it for participation. And those applications, they'll come to team and we will review them individually and provide stake based on merit. So stay tuned to find out how to do that if you are keen on being an operator. Okay, what's left to do on our side before we're ready? So a number of the community team are testing the operator and nominator workflows. I should say it's not just community team, it's an org-wide effort, but I know that like myself, Emil and Randy, we're all running them. And speaking of Randy, he is currently updating the docs. So please tag us if you find anything that is not correct. I will say that the very latest changes, the up to the minute changes, are currently in a pull request. If you can't find it, please tag me and I will direct you to the preview so you can test that out. As I mentioned earlier, Mark is working on the indexes that drive the staking data in Astral, while also ensuring the registration and staking UI is up to snuff. It will always be possible to register and stake using the Polkadot.js interface, of course. Some people even prefer it. And if there are more technical community members who want to try this out, please share your experiences or tell us where you get stuck. I'd be very interested to hear about that and provide guidance. And then Discord operator and nominator channels will be reopened in Discord. And once we have the core functionality up and running, we will revisit the verified operator and nominator Discord role setup. So we have verified farmer role at the moment. We are going to introduce the same thing for operators and nominators. There's something that we'd prepped for Stake Wars 2 originally, but we didn't get a chance to deploy it. Okay, so quick word on security and vulnerability reporting. So unlike Stake Wars 1, the latest domains implementation is much more secure. When we ran Stake Wars 1, we knew that there were certain issues. They'd been found by the security audit. But yeah, we're in a much more secure place now. The security audit on XDM is currently ongoing. Those of us who are, those of you who joined us for the roadmap update, you know that we had to, or we have to achieve deploying XDM and also having the XDM audit in place. If you find an undisclosed exploit, please report it. And again, we provided details on how to report a vulnerability on our last Farmer office hours, but please tag a member of staff if you need some guidance on how to do that, because critical reports could be rewarded. If you help us, then absolutely that should be recognized. And then finally, of course, anyone if found exploiting known issues for personal gain will be disqualified from the Stake Wars. So wrapping things up, Stake Wars 2.1 is our biggest staking challenge yet. And we're inviting farmers, operators, nominators, and builders to help us refine the future of Autonomys. If you want to get involved, you will be able to spin up a testnet operator, nominate stake on an operator, build and deploy a decentralized application, or you can join a challenge and push the network's limits. Literally, a plethora of ways to get involved in our latest stake wars. If you want to participate, now is probably the time to farm on Taurus. More details will be coming soon, so stay tuned to our Discord and forum for updates. As you can tell, we are gearing up for this to be going out relatively quickly. Sign up and register your interest today in the link I've provided. Yeah, I hope to see you all helping us out and testing domains. So any questions, pop them in the chat and we'll get to them at the end. So with that, let's hear about the big changes to Astral that have just dropped. Mark, you're somewhere interesting today, aren't you? Are you ready to give us a lowdown?
Sure. I mean, there was a lot of sounds in my apartment building, so I moved to a mall center. But basically, Astral, as many probably saw, we completely changed the design to align a lot more with the beautiful color of Autonomys. So everything is blue and white now, or with the dark mode as well. As well as we also fix a few bugs. And for farmers, one of the most important was probably for big farmer, I will say, was the leaderboard. If farmer were successfully voting on more than one vote in the same block, that second vote was not counted on the leaderboard. So that issue is now fixed. As well as downloading full data on many list page was just downloading the same page data over and over. So that issue has been fixed. A few improvements all around the website. One big improvement that I'm personally happy with is the indexer. We optimized quite a lot the code on the indexer, making it a lot faster to resync from scratch both chains. And that improved our velocity for change. So right now, for example, I'm working on the staking indexer for stake port 2.1. And so be able to re-index the entire chain in about a day is very useful. As if we discover bugs or we were making breaking change, we're able to address these and change, a bit like fixing the leaderboard, and resync from scratch much easier. So that's very good. I'm also working on the staking indexer, so to support stake port 2.1. When we did stake port 2, we were still using a different framework for indexing, so we had to rewrite it from scratch using subquery SDK, as well as I mean, everything has stayed very like the same on term of usage. One big change with that has been rolled out during for stake port 2.1 is the registration doesn't need a signature anymore. So if you're using Polkadot.js, it's much easier. You can just provide your signing key and submit the extrinsic. While for stake port 2, we had to actually sign a message. So that was making it very harder to use Polkadot.js. So now it's easier. And redrawing as well. So with our previous stake port 1 and 2, you needed to redraw a specific amount of token. And then for stake port 1, stake port 2, we needed to redraw a specific amount of share. Leaving a lot of dust. It was very hard to know exactly how much share you had at the moment you're going to send your extrinsic. And so that was creating dust or a lot of failed extrinsic. With stake port 2.1, the redraw extrinsic has changed with a few different options to redraw. So you can redraw percentage, you can redraw a fixed amount or fixed amount of share. So if you want to redraw everything, you just need to use the percentage 100%, and that's it. The front end will need to change to support that though. So I'm still working on the front end and the indexer for stake port, and the XDM support as well. So updating your balance when you receive a transfer from a domain, for example, and showing these transfer appropriately is in the work.
Thanks, Mark. There's lots going on. So you gave us like a double blast update there. So I love the new Astral skin. I think it looks very grown up. And I know that we got feedback very quickly that the font wasn't rendering very well on the on Firefox on Linux, it seems. So I want to thank you because you turned that around super quick. You like responded and got that updated to improve the experience, didn't you?
I don't think I did any update yet. I was focusing on Stake War, but I noticed those feedback, and we will address them. I'm just trying to finish Stake War's support in a way that the team can try to test it a bit before addressing the design and font. Sure.
Okay, so I saw the bold on the so I must admit I didn't see the problem. I wasn't running Firefox on Linux, so I didn't experience it, but I did see that the text was bold on the on like the total space pledge. So apologies, I'm wrong there, but thanks. Yeah, it feels very grown up, and yeah, so that's really interesting. So the changes we need to make. So some of the things that have happened as part of Stake Wars 2, feedback from Stake Wars 2.0, we've made protocol level changes. And now, of course, that's generated extra work for you because they need to be the indexers that take the data from on-chain into like a performant database to drive the UI. It sounds like you've got your work cut out there. There's plenty to do.
Yeah, totally. But it's fun work, so yeah, it's great.
Okay, fun work. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for the update, Mark.
My pleasure.
And I'm gonna let you go. Cheers, mate. And let's bring Ryan up on stage. Hey, Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing, Jim. Thank you for that introduction. Today, I'm very excited to present a new event that I'm hosting, Product Office Hours. This is essentially an open forum session, which is held bi-weekly on Fridays. And this is your chance to have a direct connection between the team, the staff, and also the users, the community. It's hosted in the Chat and Chill channel. It's super casual. It's an environment really just for discussion and feedback. And so a little bit about why we're doing this is because we really care about the feedback loop between the team and the users. We want to learn directly from your experiences and insights that sometimes we can't catch. And you guys are the most important things to us as we're building out our products. So we want to better understand your needs and challenges, gather suggestions for future improvements, and overall build a stronger product community. So there's no preparation needed, just come as you are. And I recommend completing our survey in our releases first, and then come to our session to follow up on it. And that way you can get immediate and direct support. I really want to emphasize that we really care about human support here. If you see, we really always have a person helping support you rather than AI. And that just shows how much we care about you, about the community. So come in with all your product questions, future suggestions, general feedback. If you want specific people on the session, let me know. I'll get them on. Even if you want to talk to leadership like Todd, I'll try and get them on to come talk to the community. So check out the link in Discord. And it's this Friday at 1800 UTC. See you guys there.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, I think that 6 UTC.
Oh, banner is a non-military time, but 6 p.m. UTC.
6 p.m. UTC rather than the 6 a.m. In case anyone's confused. But yeah, really great. I think the initial session was a bit of a surprise for everyone. We didn't really promote it, did we? But it ended up being very successful, and we got some really great feedback that actually we've already acted on some of it. So that was that's great to see. So yeah, if you're keen to help us out and help us steer and shape products at Autonomys, please do join us. Thanks, Ryan. I'll let you go. Poor Ryan is not feeling great at the moment, so he's done well joining us up on stage. But okay, so moving on, I'm going to bring Fredik up on stage. Hey, Fredik, how are you?
Doing great, Jim. Thank you for the introduction. It really feels great to be, to participate in these events. It makes me feel closer to the community, which is awesome. Thank you all for making the time and turning up. Next slide, please. Yeah, you read correctly. The team effort within the engagement team, deserves a big shout out to the entire engagement squad. Their effort and production has been truly nothing short of exemplary. Next slide, please. The big news is revolves around the drip, our new engagement tool lying within Discord. The past weeks, the engagement team got a blast as they shape the future of drip within Discord. And let me tell you, the journey looks quite exciting. The team works on a clear and rewarding incentive model while operationally leveraging drip to create, let's say, more fulfilling experiences. So what lies at the core of it? I promise I won't I won't steal Ivan's thunder, but he agreed I can provide some trailer. I can next slide. But no, previous one. Sorry. Yes. So yeah, what lies at the core of it is an interesting model in architecture where there are structuring a role hierarchy with every role unlocked bigger perks and recognition. Kindly, they also were attentive to a quick and soft start for newbies users, so there's no barriers to entry. And I was very pleased to see the long-term vision they've been crafting. That is, an 18-month roadmap with every step unlocking new benefits. And interestingly, a number of interactive experiences, features like live task and real-time fun. So, but that's not all. It all sounds very promising, but to that purpose, we need scale. And as I said, Drip remains the core hub within Discord, as the team explored integration with other platforms to supercharge it for more gamification and more buzz. So watch this space again, and thank you, engagement team and Ivan, for crafting all of this. Thank you very much. Next slide. Now, yes. All right. So speaking of scale and expansion, we feel impressed with the countless, really a large number of initiatives by the support team, lately led by Vexer, Anna V, and Penguin. Special kudos to Vexer, who recently joined as a new lead, and he's all over the place. It truly feels refreshing. As decentralization maxes, we as staff, we tend to avoid forced top-down changes, and thankfully, the support team leads by example by surfacing innovation and new workflows from the bottom up. But we need help. DJ, can you please play Beatles Help? And I don't know if anyone in the audience knows the music. Please play it in your mind for a second. We are now seriously. We really need the support teams. Really needs a Mandarin-speaking support member, ideally with a consistent history of participation and assistance in our Discord forum, and of course our Telegram. If that is you, you feel you are the right fit, please step up and submit your application. If anyone could please share the link in the chat. Thank you very much. Now, next slide, please. Oh yeah, so it is no hyperbole, no exaggeration to state that the ambassador bylaws form the backbone of our program. So over the past months, the governance team and the General Assembly have been producing and voting basically one motion per week. Most of them, believe me, driving transformational shifts. Now, this has been really incredible and industrious effort from Jonathan, Mathematics, William, and basically everyone on the governance team. But a challenge remains, I would say, because it turns out that most proposed changes in the bylaws require a level of automation to play out. So if you code and you like DAOs, this opportunity awaits you. Don't be shy, click the application link, join the mission, and let's connect. I'll see you on the other side, and I'll be happy to answer questions. That's all for me, Jim. Thank you.
Thanks, Radik. Yes, I did post the the open application form. Interesting. We call it the open application form because we have recently shifted from a cohort based onboarding over to on-demand onboarding, and we are looking for particular skills. I know that, for example, Jonathan and the governance team are looking for developers, and there are also Mandarin speakers we're keen to onboard into the ambassador program. So if you think you've got the right stuff, please do take us up on clicking the link and putting your application in. It's an opportunity to sell yourself, and we'll keep you on record for a while to see if an opportunity arises that's a great fit for you. And yeah, I can see that we have like I can see Ivan's in the chat there as well. Ivan is a superstar, lead ambassador. In fact, I can see several ambassadors. I can see Inutik, Bing Bang, plenty of regulars out there. It's great to have you here with us. Okay, Pradeep, I'll let you go. Because we can cheers, we can segue into Q&A. Now, I did take a sneaky peek at the comments. Now's the time, guys. If you've got any questions about any of the topics, pop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to go through a few comments instead because I can't see any what I'd term a burning question. No question about stake wars? No. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so there is a question. Nanao Yuki, is the big one coming? So I'm not sure which big one you're referring to. We've got some big milestones on our roadmap, but I'm going to take a liberty and assume you mean Stake Wars 2.1. And yes, so it is coming. We are gearing up for it. It's a hive of activity on our side, and you know, there's plenty of reasons for people to get involved. So yeah, please do keep your eyes open for more updates on Stake Wars. There will be a post. I wanted to have a few more details. The information that I provided today, I wanted to get a few more details locked down before I put out my my kind of traditional or more kind of expected forum post to really sum all the information up. So keep an eye out for that, but we're going to make a big song and dance about it in Discord anyway, and Twitter, of course. Okay, so the Ivan, I'll give you a shout out. Hey, Ivan. Bing Bang, another one of our ambassadors. I don't always know. Oh, Keith. Hey, Keith. Great to have you here with us. Another ambassador does great stuff in the engagement team. Okay, Anna, another lead. Excellent. And William, amazing work. So William, I think I've got the right name here if it's transferred across correctly. Doing excellent work for the ambassadors and AmboS, which is how ambassadors are able to track the wonderful work that they're doing for our network. If you check out, there's a subspace ambassadors repository in GitHub. You'll see all the commits going in there. A lot of work being made and a lot of progress being made. I'm going to tag our own one. Please do check out the new develop.autonomous.xyz. Let's see, has anyone got a question? Okay. Oh, speedy staking. So, hey, Semi, I'm going to take a stab at saying that. I believe I've been speaking to one of your colleagues, JD, and that's wonderful to hear. You want to support Autonomous in any way. I know that you're keen to get on board as an operator. So yeah, hopefully, sign up to that with the link in the chat there, and you will be the first to know when there's something to do. Oh, excellent. Okay, we've got some questions. Crazy. Can we run operators on Windows machine? You absolutely can. In fact, I'm syncing one on a Windows machine right now. You may also be interested to hear that you can actually run a farmer operator if you want to. So what does that mean? So you can tell your node to both participate in consensus, and you run it with like the -- farmer command, and then you can connect your farmer up to it, so you can plot and farm those plots, and like I say, participate in consensus. But it can also be an operator. So yeah, you absolutely can. Crazy. A few of us are doing that. Ego P, 2 months to Q2. How is progress? Yeah, great question. So we have turned some boxes grey on the roadmap. If you join us on what will probably be the next farmer office hours, we will be providing an update, regular update. And if you're not sure what I mean by turning a box grey, hop over onto the forum. Let me see if I can find it quickly, and you will see that we have a roadmap which details the milestones we need to achieve before we're ready for mainnet phase 2. Let me pop that in the chat for you there. So yes, progress is being made. Ego P, thanks for the question. How many TSSC will we need for operator from Inutic? It will be TAI3 to start with. If I had that number, I think I know what it is, but if I had that number confirmed right now, you would have it. So stay tuned, Inutic, and we will let you know. Okay. There is no possibility of delay in our Q1 plan so far. We have not announced another date yet, Nanau. However, there are unknown unknowns. So while we say that we expect to deliver mainnet phase 2 in Q1, the real way to know where we are is to follow along on those roadmap updates. But yeah, if there is a change in the date, the community will be the first to know. Another question from Nanau. Is it possible to release a GUI version for our pledge operation? So we actually had this question the other day. So I think really the question, if we spin it round, is can I use Space Acres to run an operator? I'm afraid that's not possible at the moment. You will have to use the CLI instead. However, it's not. I know that there's there is like an increase in technical requirement, understanding how to run the CLI, but it's not that scary, and we've got lots of people who are keen to help in the chat. So in Discord, for example. So yeah, if you want to have a stab at it, feel free to tag me on how to get started. We've got really great docs on how to run an operator, which I'm going to dig out now for you if you want to see how easy it really looks. Let me just find them for you. Okay, so this is the intro section, but you can quite quickly move on to the operator's guide and registering an operator. Running an operator is not super technical. Running the infrastructure for a really strong operator could get quite technical, but to actually run the operator software is not too difficult. So yeah, if you give it a try and you get stuck, please do let us know. Okay, Andrew Cat. Okay, here we go. Will it be necessary to manipulate keys to start the operator? I remember some people had problems with this. Okay, yeah. So this actually speaks to something that Mark mentioned earlier. Is that for in Stake Wars 1, the key management was kind of quite basic, and then in Stake Wars 2, to combat a front-running attack. So what does that mean? That means that if you registered your key, but then potentially someone else could claim it, someone really savvy who was like looking in exactly what was going on the blockchain, could potentially commandeer your like your on-chain activity. So yeah, in Stake Wars 2. there was a change to the way that that worked. And yes, it was much more awkward than in the original Stake Wars. However, my understanding is that the process is much simpler now. In fact, Randy, I'm just giving you a 1 second warning that I'm going to drag you up on stage here, because I think you've recently done this, haven't you? I'm still thinking, but your operator, when you registered it, how did you find the key management?
It was much easier. It was basically the same as Stake Wars 1. You don't have Stake Wars 2 required a proof of ownership key, and that is still on the documentation right now because the changes to that is in that PR currently. So it might not be a bad idea to link that again. But it's a lot closer to the way it was in Stake Wars 1.
Thanks, Randy. Just confirming, because I haven't quite got there yet, but you're quite right. So what happens is we have an update to the documentation that's going out. But while we're testing it internally, we're not quite ready to push it to production just yet. Randy's kind of, as usual, or as you might expect, Randy's kind of led the charge there, and he's got his operator set up first, following the documentation and modifying the docs as he goes along to support that new operator registration flow. So what I've just given you a link to there is the preview of that pull request. So if you follow that, which is actually what I'm doing at the moment, I'm not quite there yet. I think I'm a couple of thousand blocks shy of Chainhead, but yeah, I'm hoping to get to that later on today. But Andrew, really great question. And if you do have problems, please just tag us in Discord. We will open those Stake Wars channels, the operator and nominator channels, specifically for questions like that. Okay. Thanks, Randy. I'll let you go again.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, cheers. Okay, guys. I'm not seeing any more questions. You're very welcome, Andrew. Andrew's just said thanks in the chat. Okay, so unless there's any more questions, and of course things don't end here. While this is our office hours, we do love seeing your questions related to farming and operating and nominating. So yeah, we can take the chat over into Discord as we normally do, or the forum if you're not a Discord user. We also have Telegram. Again, you can find all those links on the footer on our main website. So yeah, I guess that brings us to the end of today's Farmer Office Hours. We have covered a lot of ground, from the latest network updates to developer documentation and through some upcoming community initiatives. As always, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the commitment, the passion and effort of every single one of you in this community. Autonomous isn't just a blockchain network, it's a movement built by pioneers, farmers, builders and visionaries like you. A few reminders from today's call before we finish. So yeah, again, farmers need to upgrade to the latest version. Telemetry is telling us that less than 50% are on the latest version, which is not good. We don't usually see that many people fall behind. The developer hub has launched, so again, please do check it out and join us for next week, where we'll be taking a more detailed look at this resource on developer office hours. Emir and I will be running that. Stake Wars 2.1 is coming. Operators and nominators should register their interest now to ensure you get an email regarding next steps. Excuse me. The new Astral updates are live. As Mark said, faster indexing, lots of bug fixes, and much more. So if you notice, if you do notice something amiss, please do let us know so we can add an issue in GitHub and get it addressed. Product office hours are happening. Keep an eye on our Discord events feed and join the discussion. I think there's already an event for Friday set up in there. And if you feel like you've got the right stuff for the ambassador program, you can find details on how to apply over on the forum, or you can follow that link that we dropped just a little while ago. Or of course you can just jump straight into Discord and start getting to know us, which is obviously a great way to get noticed and understand a bit more about the project. Finally, actually something I didn't mention earlier, I saved it to the end. Please, if you are going to East Denver, give us a shout. We're going to have a number of team there, and we're going to be announcing some exciting plans that we have for the event next week, again on developer office hours. Finally, if you haven't already, please do follow us on Twitter. We are at Autonomys.net, and help us spread the word by liking and reposting our announcements. Every bit of engagement helps us as we gear up for mainnet phase 2. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, note that we have another account more focused on the technical update side of things. You can find it at Autonomys Labs. So please go ahead and give it a follow. Nothing left to say, but thank you once again for spending your time with us. Keep an eye on our socials for future announcements. And as always, we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Until then, keep farming, keep questioning, and as always, stay connected. Thanks, everyone.